Heartwarming discovery, girl finds life-changing message from CEO who disappeared 5 years ago. Mia's world felt heavy as she shuffled through the dusty attic of her late grandfather's house. Each step stirred up memories coated in stale air and faded light. At 16, Mia had already known enough about struggle. Her mother worked 3 jobs, chain-smoking her worries and keeping their little family afloat. But in this musty space, time seemed to pause, waiting for her. She brushed aside cobwebs, her heart heavy from the daily grind of high school drama and financial strain. Suddenly, her fingers grazed a weathered box, hidden beneath an old quilt. Curiosity ignited a spark, and she pulled it out, her heart racing. Inside were a collection of letters, each one a whisper from the past. As she read through faded handwriting, an electric connection surged through her. A letter penned by a local CEO who had mysteriously vanished 5 years ago spoke of dreams, hope, and a desire to uplift those in Cloverfield. His words flickered like a flame in Mia's heart, igniting a resilience she hadn't known she possessed. This man, once an altar boy in her very town, had believed in the community, a belief she desperately craved. "Together, we can uplift Cloverfield," the letter declared, and just like that, Mia's dreams of a better future felt alive again. Inspired, she envisioned transforming their neglected park into a gathering space for families, where hope would blossom like wildflowers. She saw collaboration sparking between local businesses, laughter echoing through the air. But as she began sharing her vision with neighbors, skepticism clouded the air. "What can a girl from a family like hers really do?" they whispered. Their doubts were like heavy shackles, clamping down on her aspirations. She felt the weight of neglect again, her heart pounding, tears pricking her eyes. Just when despair threatened to drown her, Mia stood at a town hall meeting beside an elderly veteran. He had once received kindness from the CEO, and together, they shared their stories. "Hope is community," she said, her voice trembling but steady. "We can revive the spirit of Cloverfield." Eyes locked on her as her words began to breathe life back into the room. The buzz of murmurs grew, her vulnerability striking a chord within those who listened. When the video of her speech went viral, Mia couldn't believe it. Her story touched people far and wide, drawing attention to their town's plight. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As momentum surged, whispers of intrigue and suspicion swirled around her. The CEO's disappearance tangled with her own family's history in alarming ways, sending her world spinning once more. Just as she thought she could harness the collective power of Cloverfield's people, new divides emerged: rich versus poor, hope versus disparity. Would the very community she sought to unify stand with her? Mia stood at a crossroads, courage swelling within her chest. She held the weight of transformation in her hands, her heart racing with uncertainty and determination. Would she be able to carry the legacy of dreams forward, or would doubt extinguish the spark she had ignited? Mia awoke on a Tuesday, sunlight filtering through her window, casting golden rays across her bedroom. Her heart raced, a mixture of hope and anxiety dancing within her. The video had spread like wildfire, and messages flooded her phone, some supportive, others riddled with contempt. She felt like she was standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap, yet terrified of the fall. As she made her way to school, she clutched the well-worn letters tightly against her chest. They provided strength and connection, like a lifeline in a sea of doubt. Every face she passed seemed to tell its own story, whispering either encouragement or scorn. She was gaining followers, but with that came naysayers bent on pulling her back down. "Did you see Mia's little speech?" a popular girl sneered, her voice dripping with condescension. "Like she can change anything." The words cut deeper than Mia expected, clenching around her heart like a grip. But amid the whispers, she spotted a familiar face: Jacob, her childhood friend and a staunch supporter. He waved her over with a bright smile. "Don't listen to them. You're igniting something big here," he said, his eyes sparkling with encouragement. "Do you really think so?" she asked, searching his face for reassurance. "Absolutely. You've got the whole town buzzing." Jacob's belief felt like a shield against the negative voices. They gravitated toward a small group gathered around the bulletin board, where her video had been pinned alongside older community notices. People were talking. With a deep breath, Mia stepped up beside Jacob. "I want to create something special in the park," she said, drawing their attention. "A place for everyone, with playgrounds, benches, gardens, a real community center where people can come together. We can build this." A boy with a skateboard slung over his shoulder scoffed, "You really think you can get the council to agree to that? They don't care about our ideas." But Mia stood tall, fueled by the support from Jacob's side and emboldened by the letters that beckoned her toward action. "What if we do care? What if we show them how much this matters to us?" The murmurs of doubt began to shift, carrying a hint of collective curiosity. She shared her plans, her vision for a revitalized park bringing life and laughter back into their community. As she spoke, she watched hope and excitement flicker in the eyes of her peers. The bell rang, cutting through the growing chatter as students filed into classrooms. But Mia's thoughts remained outside. How could she harness this moment? After classes, she decided to organize a community meeting to share her vision more broadly. She couldn't wait for the council's approval. She needed momentum, support, volunteers, and ideas from the people. That evening, with trembling fingers, she sent out invitations to neighbors, parents, local businesses, anyone she could think of who might care. The more she tapped into her connections, the stronger her resolve became. As she stared at the screen, her heart thudded in her chest. It felt like taking a leap of faith into the unknown. Would they come? And then, there it was, a message pinged on her phone. It was from the elderly veteran who had spoken with her at the town hall. "I'm in. Let us do this together." A surge of excitement coursed through her veins. But just as she felt the high of possibility, another message popped up, the headline of a news article flashing across her screen: "Disappearance of local CEO linked to funding scandal." Mia's breath caught in her throat. The connection to her plans felt more significant than ever, but what else did it mean? What hidden truths lay beneath the surface? The journey was just beginning, and now more than ever, she needed to dig deeper into the legacy and mystery left behind. Could understanding the past change their future? What was she truly ready to uncover? The following day, Mia's heart raced with anticipation. As she walked through the crowded halls, her mind flickered between her community plans and the news about the missing CEO. Curiosity gnawed at her thoughts, weaving through her excitement and fears. Why had that headline stirred something deep within her? At lunch, she sat with Jacob at their usual spot, the noise of students melding into a hum in the background. "Did you read the article?" she asked, her voice a mix of eagerness and urgency. Jacob nodded, his brow creased. "Yeah, it's crazy. Like, why is it suddenly linked to funding? You think it could affect your project?" She chewed on her salad, pondering. "Maybe. But I can't shake the feeling there's more to it. What if the funding is tied to the park? What if the CEO?" Her voice trailed off, visions of possibilities dancing in her head. Jacob leaned in, intrigued. "What if what? You think he was working on something for the community?" Mia's mind raced. The elderly veteran had shared stories about the town's history, and she remembered whispers of a community center idea that had been shot down years ago. Was that somehow connected to the CEO's disappearance? Maybe I should reach out to the veteran again. "He knows a lot about the town's past," she said, determination replacing uncertainty. After school, she grabbed her phone and tapped out a quick message, hoping her instincts were correct. The reply came within minutes. Would love to talk. Meet me at the cafe? The aroma of coffee and freshly baked goods welcomed her as she entered. She spotted the veteran sitting at a corner table, his weathered hands cradling a steaming cup. Mia. Glad you made it. His smile was warm and inviting. Thank you for meeting me. I wanted to ask you about the CEO and the community center plan from years ago, she said, settling in. His eyes twinkled with recognition. Ah, of course. He had big dreams for this town, but politics got in the way. People were scared of change. Do you think that has anything to do with his disappearance? She asked, the stakes rising with each word. The veteran sighed, looking distant. It's hard to say. There were always whispers in the town, secrets buried beneath all that fear. But he was passionate about creating something alive, something that would draw everyone together. As he spoke, Mia felt a spark of inspiration igniting within her. Then maybe I need to dig a little deeper. If his ideas are tied to what I want, could I revive them? Could I bring the community back together? The veteran smiled knowingly. You've got spirit, Mia. That's the first step. But you need to be cautious. Not everyone will want you to succeed. The past can be hard to confront. Mia nodded, determination flowing through her. I'm ready to confront it. This park means more than just swings and slides, it's about a legacy. If I can find out what happened, it could mean everything. After their talk, Mia walked home with a renewed sense of purpose. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Her mind buzzed with questions. What happened to the CEO? What secrets were hidden in her community's past? As she arrived home, she pulled out the letters she had kept close. Each one was a reminder of connection and hope. She needed to follow the breadcrumbs. If she could discover the truth, she could build something that would honor those dreams. Just then, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from an unknown number. We need to talk about what you're planning. There's something you don't know. A chill ran down her spine. Who was it? What could they reveal? Did they hold the key to something bigger? Mia felt a surge of determination. She would find out, no matter what. Mia stared at her phone, her heart pounding as questions spiraled in her mind. Who was this person? What could they possibly know? Her fingers hesitated above the screen, but the urge to respond was overwhelming. She texted back, "Who is this?" The reply came quickly. "Meet me at the old park tomorrow at noon. Just make sure you're alone." The old park. It had been years since it had seen any joy or laughter. Taking a deep breath, she glanced at the letters spread across her desk. Each word felt like a piece of a puzzle, hinting at a story untold. Maybe this was the lead she had been searching for. That night, sleep eluded her. She lay in bed, the weight of anticipation heavy on her chest. Memories of her childhood in that park swirled through her mind, days spent swinging high into the sky, laughter echoing through the trees. But now, shadows loomed where once there was light. The old park had become a ghost of its former self, a reminder of dreams deferred. Morning arrived, the sun shining bright and clear. Mia grabbed her backpack, stuffing it with her notebook and a pen. She wanted to be prepared, in case this meeting led her to something significant. Each step toward the park felt like she was inching closer to a revelation, a hidden connection to the past. As she approached, her heart raced. The gate creaked open, its sound a haunting reminder of what had come before. The park was overgrown, weeds claiming the space where children used to play. And yet, a certain magic lingered, something she hoped to tap into. Mia waited, glancing at her watch, the second hand ticking louder than ever. Every moment felt stretched, filled with expectancy. At exactly noon, she spotted a figure approaching. A tall silhouette emerged from the shadows. It was a man in a dark coat, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. "Are you Mia?" he asked, his voice low but steady. "Yes, that's me," she replied, trying to steady her nerves. "You sent me the message?" He nodded slowly, stepping into the light. Her breath caught as she recognized his features. It was the CEO, the very man touted in headlines just days before. The realization sent shockwaves through her. How was it possible? Was he hiding all this time? "I'm sorry for the secrecy," he said, his eyes scanning the park as if he could feel the weight of its history. "There are things about this town, about my plans that you need to know. It's not just about the community center. It goes much deeper." Mia's mind whirled. "What do you mean? Why did you disappear?" "Because I knew what was coming. And I couldn't let anyone get hurt while I fought to protect the town. But now I need your help." His words hung in the air, saturated with urgency. Mia felt the gravity of his request settle heavily in her chest. Could she really become part of this untold story of her community? Her heart raced with a mix of fear and exhilaration. "I'll help you. But I need to know everything." He took a deep breath, the weight of secrets pressing down on him. "Then let me share the truth about what lies beneath this park, and the dangers that still lurk." As he began to speak, Mia listened intently. Her heart thudded in her chest, understanding that this was the point of no return. Whatever lay ahead would change everything. And just as a new revelation began to unfold, her phone buzzed again. The screen lit up with another unknown number. Stop her before it's too late. Panic surged, mingling with the thrill of discovery. Who was threatening them now? What dark forces were so intent on keeping the past buried? Mia steeled herself. She was ready for whatever came next. The stakes had never felt higher. Mia's breath caught in her throat. The words on her phone glowed ominously, each letter feeling like a warning bell. The park around her faded into a blur. Forget the shadows of her childhood, dread crept in, settling at the edges of her thoughts. The CEO hadn't even finished his sentence, and now she had a new threat looming over them. Who is she?" Mia stammered, looking at the man before her. Could he have known about this? His brow furrowed, and for the first time, she saw the vulnerability etched in his features. He opened his mouth to respond, but then closed it, his gaze darting to the trees swaying lightly in the breeze, as if he sensed the danger lurking there. "Whatever it is," he finally said, his voice steadying, "we can't let it distract us. There's a reason I reached out, Mia. The past isn't just buried here, it's haunting people. If it's true that they're onto us." He trailed off, digesting the weight of his own words. "Onto us?" She felt a chill creep down her spine. "What are you afraid of?" Before he could answer, footsteps crunched loudly nearby, snapping both Mia and the CEO to attention. A woman emerged from the trees, her face drawn and tense, hair framing her features like a wild halo. Mia's stomach dropped. There was something fierce about her, something that screamed urgency. "Mia, you need to go," the woman urged, fixing her intense gaze on the CEO. "You don't know what they're capable of. If they find you here." "Rowan," the CEO interjected, his voice a mix of reassurance and alarm. "I can't just abandon her. She deserves to know." Rowan shook her head, desperation etched in every line of her face. "If they're coming for her, we're already too late. I couldn't protect you 5 years ago, don't make the same mistake now." Each word hung heavily in the air, threatening to suffocate Mia with the impending doom. She felt a responsibility swell within her, the urge to be a part of something bigger, yet the terror of the unknown loomed just as large. "What do you mean 5 years ago?" Mia asked, striving to keep her voice steady, willing herself to unwrap the layers of this mystery. Rowan's eyes flickered with apprehension. "There are secrets beneath this park. When I tried to expose them, chaos erupted. If we're caught now, lightning could strike again. Then let us expose them, Mia urged, a fire igniting in her belly. We can't just let fear dictate what we do. I'm tired of holding back. Fear is smart, though, the CEO said softly. It keeps us alive. But we can't stay here. Not now. Just as he finished speaking, another buzz erupted from Mia's phone, chilling her bones. Time's running out. Do not trust them. Walk away. The hair on her arms stood on end, suffocating the air around her with concern. Someone was watching. Mia, we need to move now. Rowan urged, taking a step towards her. What if it's not just about me? What if we're risking everything? Mia retorted, feeling the pull of her courage battling with her rising panic. Rowan reached for her arm, her grip fierce. This town isn't what it seems. Trust us. You've already stepped into the storm. As tension wrapped around them, there was no turning back. Mia was standing at a precipice, the weight of choices pressing down on her. But just as she thought she understood what was at stake, a shadow passed overhead. Mia's heart raced again, dread slithering into her thoughts. What comes next? She whispered, fear clenching her chest tighter than ever. Rowan's eyes darted to the sky, and for a split second, Mia saw real fear flash across her face. Run! And as they took off, Mia realized the stakes were higher than she'd ever imagined. Secrets lay ahead, but they were no longer just whispers in the wind. What awaited them in the depths of the park? Danger? Revelation? Or something darker entirely? Adrenaline surged through Mia's veins as she sprinted alongside Rowan and the CEO. Each footfall echoed in her ears, punctuated by deep breaths laced with panic. The chaotic whispers of the leaves swirled around them, a dissonant soundtrack to their desperate escape. Rowan's grip never loosened on Mia's arm, her urgency palpable as they navigated the winding trails of the park. We can't look back. Just keep running, she shouted, her voice sharp like a crack of lightning in a stormy sky. Mia's heart pounded harder with each passing second. What had she just stepped into? The looming shadow was more than just a figure from her childhood, it was a specter of her past that threatened to engulf her whole. Who exactly was she within the messages Mia received? And why did Rowan seem so determined to keep her safe? Suddenly, the CEO skidded to a halt, raising a hand to stop the pair. This way. He pulled them into a narrow clearing, the thicket of trees shielding them like sentinels. Gasping for breath, they huddled behind the thick trunks, tension rippling through Mia like a current. Do you think they saw us? Mia whispered, her eyes darting around for any sign of movement. Rowan shook her head, her expression fierce yet anxious. Not yet. But we need to make a plan and fast. What's the plan? Mia asked, her heart racing with conflicting emotions. Part of her still wanted to run from everything, yet another side screamed for answers, for bravery. What do we do about the messages? What are we up against? The CEO leaned against the rough bark, his brow furrowed in thought. If they know we're here, they'll come for us. But I don't think they know we're together. We must use that to our advantage. His gaze pinned Mia down with a sense of urgency that made her stomach twist. Together? What does that even mean? I'm not ready to dive into whatever this is. Mia said, her voice quaking with frustration. You two have been playing with shadows while I've been left in the dark. Rowan stepped forward, fixing her with a piercing look. Mia, you've already taken the first step by standing with us. Whatever is buried here, we need to uncover it. But if we don't act, the truth will consume us all, just like it almost did before. The CEO waved a hand impatiently, trying to maintain focus. We need to head toward the old maintenance building. If it hasn't changed, it might still have records stored there, records that could shed light on these shadows. A flicker of resolve ignited within Mia, battling against her fear. Let us do it, then. But we can't just charge in blindly. We need a way to protect ourselves. Rowan nodded, her fierce determination reinforcing Mia's confidence. I know a few tricks. Just follow my lead. With each cautious step forward, Mia's heart screamed a warning, unsettling but electrifying. Would they uncover the truth, or would it bury them alive? As they crept deeper into the park, a sudden noise pierced the silence, a snapping twig, a rustle in the underbrush. Every instinct screamed at Mia to flee, but she couldn't abandon this fight now. Mia. The CEO's voice was a soft plea, tinged with an edge that sent chills racing down her spine. I need you to trust me. The urgency hung in the air, thick and stifling. The shadows were merging around them, growing thicker, darker. What would happen if they didn't uncover the truth before it consumed them? Would their fears finally catch up? Would they stand together or fall apart? The looming uncertainty shimmered with danger. With breaths entwined in fear and resolve, they stepped further into the shadows, together. But would the darkness swallow them before they could find the light? Mia followed Rowan and the CEO, each step heavier than the last. The trees loomed overhead like ancient guardians, their gnarled branches creating an almost claustrophobic atmosphere. Every sound felt amplified, the rustling of leaves, the distant chirps of birds, and even the pounding of her heart that echoed like a war drum in the silence between them. Stay close, Rowan whispered, turning to look at Mia, her eyes flickering with concern. We need to stick together. No matter what happens. Mia nodded, her throat tight. She tried to focus, to push away the creeping fear that threatened to swallow her whole. The maintenance building was close, but with every shadow that danced in the corner of her vision, panic surged anew. Memories of the messages raced through her mind. Who was the girl? What did she want? And why did it matter so much? Suddenly, the CEO halted, cutting through the fog of confusion with a sharp command. Now! Move! He darted toward an old, crumbling building that appeared out of the shadows, its windows boarded up like a long-forgotten tomb. The door hung ajar, creaking ominously as if beckoning them inside. Mia, you first. Rowan urged, giving her a gentle shove. The urgency in their eyes propelled her forward, but doubt clung to her like a heavy coat. Just as she stepped over the threshold, a deep growl resonated from the darkness within the building. Mia froze, her blood going cold. A figure emerged, half hidden in the shadow, and dread washed over her. It was a man, dressed in worn-out clothing, his face partially obscured by a hood. Fear gripped her throat like a vice. Was this another shadow hunting them? Mia. Rowan's voice cut through her panic, gripping her arm tightly. Trust me. He's one of us. I promise. The man stepped into the light, revealing weathered features and tired eyes that held a flicker of recognition. You're here, he breathed, his voice raspy yet filled with urgency. Mia's pulse raced at the sight of him. Do I know you? He took a hesitant step closer, his brow furrowed in deep concentration. I knew your mother. She wanted you to have this. He produced a crumpled envelope from his pocket, extending it toward Mia. Her hands shook as she reached out, the weight of the envelope heavy with implications. She recognized the handwriting, her mother's careful script bringing a wave of nostalgia mixed with a pang of grief. What is this? Everything, the man said with quiet intensity. Your mother was protecting you. There are things you still don't know. Mia's breath hitched in her throat, her heart racing in anticipation and fear. The shadows around them felt alive, whispering her mother's name, weaving threads of a past she didn't understand. Mia, we need to hurry, the CEO interjected, his voice sharp. You can read that later, but we have to find the records now. The danger isn't just in the past, it's here, watching us. Rows of conflicting emotions surged through her. She stood at a crossroads between the known and the unknown. Would digging into her past fulfill the promise of answers or pull painful memories she wasn't ready to confront? As they retreated further into the building, the darkness felt less suffocating, more liberating. But the message weighed heavily in her pocket, secrets her mother had left behind, a puzzle begging to be solved. Mia took a deep breath. Let us find the records. But I want answers. I deserve to know what my mother was hiding. Rowan nodded fiercely, and the CEO watched with an approving glint in his eye. They were carving their path into the unknown, but as the shadows surged and twisted around them, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that someone was still watching. With determination solidifying in her chest, she stepped deeper into the gloom, ready to confront whatever specters awaited them. But in her heart, a larger question loomed: was this journey leading toward redemption, or something far darker waiting to rewrite her fate? As they moved deeper into the building, the air grew thick with dust and secrets. The stale scent of mildew hung heavily, mingling with the palpable tension that clung to Mia's skin. She could feel the walls whispering around her, echoing with the remnants of lives once lived in this place, each creak and groan conjuring images of what had once been. Over here, the man urged, his voice breaking through her spiral of thoughts. He led them down a narrow hallway, his back slightly bent as he navigated the remnants of forgotten machinery and fallen debris. Mia's gaze flitted from the peeling paint to the jagged edges of the floorboards. Uncertainty gnawed at her, but the envelope in her pocket felt heavier, urging her to uncover the truth. The man halted at a door marked with rusted signs, their words long faded. Rowan stepped beside her, and the CEO brought up the rear, an imposing figure ready for anything. With a deep breath, the man pushed the door open. It swung wide, revealing a dimly lit room filled with filing cabinets and scattered papers. The air was cooler here, a strange contrast to the stagnant warmth of the hallway. Records are kept in the cabinets, the man said, his voice barely a whisper as he gestured, fear clearly etched on his face. But be careful. If they come. They won tea, the CEO snapped, a commanding edge to his tone. We can't let fear paralyze us. We have a purpose. He stepped forward, quickly scanning the rows of cabinets. Mia's heart raced, the thrill of impending discovery mingling with gnawing apprehension. What truths lay hidden within those files? She needed to know what her mother had been protecting her from. Mia, you search the ones over there, Rowan said, pointing to the far wall. We need everything: names, dates, anything that connects to your mother and whoever was after her. Pushing her fear down, Mia moved to the nearest cabinet, pulling open the drawer. Papers tumbled out, scattering across the floor. Each one held fragments of a life she knew little about. As she rifled through the documents, a sense of desperation began to fuel her search. She was determined to find the connection, to understand the hidden dangers that were intrinsic to her mother's past. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the hallway. Mia's heart dropped. Rowan shared a terrified glance with her, their eyes wide. What was that? Stay quiet, the CEO warned, his voice stern as he gestured for them to duck behind the cabinets. They huddled together, listening intently. Footsteps began to echo, loud and deliberate, growing closer. It was as if intruders were marching straight toward them, a relentless tide of threat that threatened to engulf everything they sought. Just as Mia felt panic swell within her, a flash of awareness struck her. The envelope. Bursting with uncontained urgency, she fumbled to pull it from her pocket. Wait, she whispered, unfolding the crumpled paper. As her eyes scanned the handwriting, a jolt of recognition hit her. This is about a safe house. What? Rowan asked, leaning closer. Mia's voice was steady, piercing through the room's tension. This could lead us away from here. We have to go now. But before anyone could react, the door creaked open wider, and a figure shadowed the threshold. Heart pounding, Mia froze, a chill coursing through her veins. Mia! The figure called out, and her heart sank. The voice was familiar, yet twisted by time and circumstance. "Mia, we need to talk about your mother." A wave of recognition crashed over her as the light revealed a face she had thought was lost forever. And just like that, everything she thought she knew was on the brink of unraveling. Would this revelation bring clarity or chaos? As the truth danced within reach, the question loomed larger: who was truly ally, and who was enemy? The figure stepped into the room, and Mia's breath caught in her throat. It was her father, a man she had lost alongside her childhood memories. The years melted away in that instant. The wild hair, the weary eyes, they were like anchors lost at sea, finally coming home. "Mia," he repeated, his voice trembling. "I didn't know if I'd ever see you again." "Dad?" The word felt foreign, strange in her mouth. She had spent too long without him, filling the space with questions and what-ifs. Now, the questions she cradled turned to dust in the weight of that single syllable. Her eyes darted to Rowan and the CEO. They were frozen, caught between surprise and confusion. The shadows deepened around them, and Mia felt every heartbeat echoing in the room. There was so much she wanted to ask. So many emotions tried to burst free. "Mia, please, there isn't time. We need to leave," he urged, urgency cutting through the sweetness of the reunion. "Leave?" she echoed, her voice laced with disbelief. "You just show up after all this time, and you want to run? What is going on? What do you know about Mom?" He would have said something, she could see the struggle in his eyes, but the heavy footsteps reverberated closer, crushing any moment of joy. The reality of their situation crashed into her. They had to move, and fast. Rowan shook off his shock, his voice steady. "We need to make a plan." "What do we do?" "Follow me," her father instructed, his expression serious. "I'll explain everything later. Just trust me." Mia couldn't process everything swirling inside her. Trust? After years of silence? But she didn't have time to dwell on that. She had to let go of her resentment for now and focus on their escape. They hurried past the cabinet, her father leading them quickly through the abyss of forgotten time, the others following closely, footsteps a cacophony of anxiety and adrenaline. "Why did you leave?" she pressed as they rushed down another narrow corridor. "What could be made you run away and abandon us?" He glanced back, his expression haunted. "There's so much I couldn't explain. I thought I could protect you, but I was wrong." Mia's heart twisted painfully in her chest. Protect? He was the one who had vanished. The anger bubbled to the surface, almost palpable, but the urgency sealed her lips as they turned a corner. The darkness loomed larger. Suddenly, her father skidded to a halt, pulling them all to a standstill. Ahead, shadows flickered under a doorway, more voices. "We can't turn back now," the CEO murmured, his jaw clenched with determination. "We've come too far." In that moment, the pieces of her reality began to jiggle like a puzzle trying to slot into place. "The envelope," she blurted out, remembering the hastily scrawled words about the safe house. "It could still save us." It had directions. Her father's gaze sharpened, flicking toward her. "Do you have it?" With trembling hands, Mia reached into her pocket, pulling out the crumpled paper. She held it up, fingers shaking, the faded ink almost a lifeline. But just as she began to read, the door behind them swung wide open. A group of dark figures emerged, their faces obscured by hoods. A sense of dread clung to the air, thick and suffocating. "We've found you," one of them hissed, and an icy shiver snaked down Mia's spine. They were surrounded. Mia felt her heart racing against her ribs, breaths coming in sharp gasps. This was it. The truth about her mother, her father's past, and the danger they all faced. As fear gripped her, she could only wonder, could this be the end of their search for truth, or the beginning of something even more terrifying? The next moment hung heavy in the air, teetering on the edge of chaos. What choice would Mia make when faced with the ultimate betrayal? Mia stood frozen, the weight of the moment crushing down on her. The figures encircled them, their intentions shadowed by the darkness. A whirlwind of emotions crashed inside her: fear, confusion, and a desperate need for truth. "Don't let them intimidate you," her father whispered, his voice a quiet anchor amid the chaos. "Together, we can fight this." The CEO's eyes glimmered with a determination Mia had never seen before. "Stand united," he urged the group. "We have each other, and strength flows through bonds tighter than fear." Rowan's finger pointed sharply toward the nearest hooded figure. "You want to silence us, but you're too late. The truth cannot be hidden forever." Mia felt a surge of courage. She was done being afraid. Just behind the door, the envelope rested in her pocket, a promise of revelation. She had to grab hold of it, to fuel the power simmering in her veins. "Mia, read it," she heard her father say, sensitivity layered within his voice. "The directions might show us where to go next. It could be our way out." With trembling hands, she hesitated but then pulled the paper free from her pocket. In a swift breath, she opened it. The ink scratched against her vision as she scanned the lines. There's a way out, through the back of the building, a hidden escape. The figures shifted uneasily, glancing at Mia as they sensed their time was running thin. "Over there." She pointed, the impulse pushing adrenaline across her. "Follow me." "Go," the CEO encouraged, shoving them forward as they dashed toward the rear exit. Just as they sprinted through the corridor, one of the figures lunged forward, grabbing at Mia's arm. She struggled, twisting free as panic clawed at her throat. "Run!" shouted Rowan, urging them onward. The world around her blurred. With each step, the echo of their pursuers grew louder, but Mia wouldn't let fear dictate her fate any longer. They reached the back door, the hinges creaking as they burst into the open air. Freedom rushed over her like a tidal wave as sunlight beamed down, illuminating their path. The parking lot lay just ahead, but the figures were gaining ground. "Mia, lead us," her father directed, urgency raising his voice. "You know where to go." Instinctively, she turned left, darting toward a cluster of trees that felt familiar, even after all these years. They rounded the corner, and adrenaline propelled them forward. "Keep running," the CEO urged, his voice surging into the breeze as they plunged deeper into the underbrush. As they dashed down a hidden trail, Mia felt something shift within her. The burden of the past had begun to lift. With every stride, the fear that had gripped her heart lessened, replaced with a growing sense of purpose. They reached a clearing, panting heavily, and the trees parted to reveal an overgrown path towards the town edge. "Almost there," she encouraged, the light of hope twinkling like stars in her chest. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed behind them. The figures were close, but she pushed herself harder, surging forward. And there it was, the old boathouse at the lake, a place where childhood dreams danced just beneath the surface. "We can hide there," she yelled, leading them toward its familiar structure, desperately trying to suppress the memories flooding her mind. Just as they reached the entrance, her heart sank. The sun shone brightly, illuminating the dust swirling in the air, but a chilling breeze swept through the trees, casting shadows that lingered in the corners of her eyes. "Mia, we'll figure this out," her father reassured, sliding in close beside her. "This is where we belong. Facing this together." With a nod of determination, she turned to look into her father's eyes. "I'm done running. I want to fight for what's right." The CEO stepped closer, urgency lighting his features. "They've silenced too many voices already. Now is our moment to be heard. Together, we can bring their truths into the light." Mia felt the spark of hope ignite within her. The repercussions would grip their tight-knit community, but she now stood firm in the face of fear. She had support, the type that could light the darkest corners. Let us expose the truth, she declared, her voice echoing with newfound strength. For my mother. For Cloverfield. For all of us. And as her words hung in the air, the shadows behind beckoned, ready to reveal the depths of betrayal waiting to be uncovered. With courage soaring, the trio prepared to face whatever lay ahead. They would stand against the darkness, united as a family. Secrets would be unearthed, and the fears that had long plagued their past would finally meet the light. Mia was ready. This was their moment. And then, as if fueled by her conviction, Mia rushed forward, the weight of mystery still whispering behind her. "Let us do this!" she exclaimed. The echoes of the past intertwined with the heartbeat of the present, fortified by hope, as Mia and her newfound family charged toward their uncertain future. When the dust settled, they would become the catalysts for change. They wouldn't run anymore. They would reclaim their story. The air brewed with possibility as dawn began to break over Cloverfield. And so, the next chapter awaited, crafted by each courageous choice, driven by love, trust, and the fire of transformation. Now, dear friend, this is the moment to take action. If you felt inspired by Mia's journey, you need to subscribe now to our channel. Don't miss the next exclusive stories that will unfold. Hit that like button and feed the algorithm so we can continue sharing heartwarming adventures. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and take part in the community. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support means everything.